So this is my Dyson vacuum cleaner. It's a DC17 Animal. It's been a very reliable vacuum cleaner. I've owned it for about 10 years. But recently it started making a weird sound in the brush roller assembly. Whenever you really push it into the carpet, it starts popping and grinding. So I think the belt is worn out, or possibly some other problem. I noticed there's dust ingress in the belt area. So we're going to pull it apart and try to figure out what the problem with it is.
I realized while editing this video I hadn't really shown the problem in detail before taking the machine apart. So I borrowed this little clip from somebody on YouTube to show you what I'm talking about.
So this Dyson is pretty easy to disassemble. You just undo these three plastic twist locks and the whole bottom pops apart. Ooh, that's pretty nasty in there. So there's the belt. I've had a couple of these Dysons, and the older ones, they had a very complicated like belt clutch mechanism up in this area, and I've replaced those before, and they're kind of a pain. They're not too bad, but they're kind of a pain. This one is nice because it's just an electric motor that drives the brush roll. And I think I actually may have figured out what the issue is right off the bat. If you look up in here, I don't know if you can see, but the cogs that turn the belt are really clogged up with dirt. And that's because this plastic thing has a nice crack in it. I don't know if you can see that. See that nice crack? So this whole area is all filled with dirt, and that's not supposed to be. That's supposed to be kept clean because that's the area where the belt rides. So I figure we'll pull this out. I'll clean all the hair and everything off of it, vacuum all the debris out of it, and then clean that little spindle in there and maybe replace the belt too. Now a couple months ago I actually replaced the beater brush mechanism, and I wonder if I accidentally broke that plastic thing when I did so. Let's see, I forget how to take this off. I think you just lift this up. Yeah, and then you can slide the belt off of the spindle in here. Like that. So, I gotta clean some of the hair and some of the stuff that's wrapped around this. But this was brand new, like, you know, a couple months ago. So you see the bearings on it are all still really good. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff jammed into the little cogs in here that drive that belt. So maybe I can take this whole plastic thing off and take the whole motor out. I wonder how to do that. Let me take a little look and I'll get back to you. So I have to take this thing off here in order to get to the motor so I can access that drive gear. And there are two little springs here and over here. I already removed those, and you can actually pop this out of this plastic housing. It's just sort of pressed in there. So you get this like this, you kind of push on it like that, and it should just pop out. This is easier said than done. There we go. See, it just popped out. And so now this is separated from the base. Okay, so that's out of there. And make sure you don't lose these little springs that hold everything together. They're very important. This is just held on with a few T5s. So you just unscrew them. I think there's 4 by the looks of it. And then we should be able to get this motor assembly out of there. Okay, so those are all removed, and then that comes off. And there is the motor here. And that is our problem. You can see how much junk is wrapped up around this shaft. Got to clean all this off so that way the belt will stop slipping. Now before I clean that motor, I'm going to fix this housing really quick. As I mentioned, this piece right here is broken. And I could buy another one of these, but it's in pretty good shape. All the wheels work and it's not worn through or anything, so I'm going to super glue it. Just going to put some glue on there and hold it back together. I don't see any reason why this won't work. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to clean this debris off of the shaft on the motor, And I noticed that they actually make this pretty easy to do. So on the back side of the motor, there's a flathead screw. You can put a screwdriver into it and actually lock the motor in place. So then you can get something like this and take this nut off. If it'll work, let's see. I think I just felt it unscrewing. Yep, there we go. So you can just undo this like this. You can probably just hold the shaft now. And undo this little nut here. There you go. And then this pulley should just come off pretty easily. Let's see. Yes, I have two Leathermans. They're very useful. There we go. So the pulley just pushes off like this. See that? Look, and now I can get access to all this crap that's all wrapped around there. Just try to push that down a little bit more. I can get this pulley off here. There's the top part. It's come off. So now I can get the bottom half, hopefully. There we go. And now I can just pull all of this debris that got wrapped up on there off and throw that out. And then see if I can just put all this back together really quick. This is the top half of the pulley. Just fits on there like so. It's actually 3 separate parts. That's kind of cool. So just do one of those. And put that back on there like that. And then here's our little nut. Just put that back on top. I think there's a little bit of debris on there. Hold on. Yep. Put this on here like so. Make sure that's well seated down. I can put this little nut on. There we go, I found the thread for it. So, I can tighten that up. And I don't have to get this super tight because the force of the motor spinning is going to actually finish tightening it down for me. You can see I'll just tighten this up here until I can't anymore. There we go. And check that out. Now our belt shouldn't slip anymore because there's not a ton of crap wrapped around here. And I forgot to mention, I did scrape out all the little cogs where the toothed belt rides because these were completely packed with hair and dirt. And that's actually why the belt was slipping, because the teeth could no longer grip the inside of the toothed belt. So another thing I just went and did was I just took this and I ran it through the dishwasher really quick, and that just removed any kind of debris from the top and the bottom of this. One thing I was going to mention was that it's really a good idea to take your vacuum apart and clean it every once in a while, because what tends to happen is dirt sticks to all of the air passages inside the vacuum cleaner, and over time, especially these kind of flexible tubes with the coil spring on them, they tend to get filled with dirt, and the actual space for the air restricts, but the main thing is there's more resistance because the air isn't traveling down a smooth passageway anymore. You know, there's debris partially clogging the tube. And so what ends up happening is the vacuum motor now has to work harder to pull the air through the pipes. And what happens is the cleaning performance of the vacuum cleaner drops tremendously because it's expending all its energy just trying to pull the same amount of CFM through the restricted tube, instead of being able to breathe freely and use all of that power to actually pull the dust through it. And so I noticed that was happening with this one. The inside of this was getting all clogged up. It was all brown, and all of these little dimples inside here were filled in with dirt. So I went ahead and cleaned all that. And so let's put it back together. I noticed one kind of cool design feature of this is that the way the motor works, it actually vents the air from cooling the motor down this little tube here and into the bottom. And that serves 2 purposes. One, I mean, obviously it gets the hot air away from the motor, but 2, it allows the vacuum to use the suction of the motor to cool this little motor so that this dinky little fan doesn't have to do all the work. And I'm assuming that extends the life of this motor tremendously because it's kept nice and cool. The only problem with that is, because there's now negative pressure in here, when that piece cracked, this entire thing just filled with dirt because it was, you know, being sucked in there by the actual motor of the vacuum. A couple little clips over here that retain this wire down. And then I can put this main shield back over the top of everything. Now I can turn this all over, like that, and we're going to connect this hose back up in here. This is actually just sort of held in by the force of this hose acting like a spring. See how it's basically like a spring? And then you can put this just back on here and pop it on. It's a lot easier to put it on than it is to take it off, let me tell you. So you just pop these on like that, and then like this. And then we'll get the little springs. Here's one, here's another one. And those just go like this. There's a little hook on the side here. And then I use a pair of pliers. There we go. And another one over here. There we go. Okay, so you see that's all connected and springy. So I'm going to go get the roller and the belt, and hopefully that plastic bottom piece will be done gluing by now, and we can go ahead and put it all back together. So I got the beater brush here, and as you can see, I've removed all of the hair and crap that was wrapped up around it. And figured I'd take a second to talk about why you should keep your beater brushes on your vacuum cleaners clean and free from debris. There's probably several reasons for this. You know, restricting the ease of motion with the bearings and all that. But the most important reason is that if you notice on this Dyson here, the gap around the brush roller is this sort of uniform space that perfectly fits where the brushes go, but also leaves room for air. Well, this allows, when the beater brush agitates debris out of your carpet, it allows enough space for the air and the dirt to be whisked away and sucked up this intake over here. When the beater brush becomes wrapped up with a ton of stuff, this space decreases, and once it decreases sufficiently, the air, which is being drawn in here, can no longer pull a negative vacuum on places like this, because there's no channel up underneath here for the air to actually get through, and that's why you notice the cleaning performance of your vacuum drops dramatically when this gets all wrapped up. Also, of course, when it gets wrapped up, the brushes, bristles, whatever, they get kind of smashed down. They're being held down by the wrapped up hair, and so they can't really dig into the carpet very well anymore. So that's why you should always keep them nice and clean. So I'm going to put the belt on now. It's not really a big deal, but I'll just show it to you anyway because some people might find this kind of challenging. So you take the belt and you put it in here and you kind of twist it to the side like this. And so you can slide it around the little cogged pulley. See, now it's on there and the motor is turning when I turn the belt. Then you take the brush roller and you slide it behind here like this. Be careful, don't want to mess up the belt. So now that's behind this bearing housing. You can just sort of slide it down over the brushes like this until it indexes on the geared part of the roller. Then turn these around so the peg is facing the bottom on both sides, and the whole brush should just kind of pop down and sit right in there. There you go. It's all back together. Okay, so here's the last step. This is all done being glued up. It's all nice and dry. So just going to put this back on. This. And go ahead and tighten it up. Again, just going to use my Leatherman because it's very convenient. If you don't own one of these, by the way, go buy one. They're pretty much the best tool you can buy yourself for under a couple $100. I think this one I bought it on eBay. It was like 40 bucks. Tighten these up. And I think we should be in business. Looks like we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, it's all plugged in. Let's make sure it works.